Hey guys, Henry here, and today we're going to be talking about the Netflix film The Half of It, what I think of the film, and whether it's worth a watch. The Half of It is written and directed by Alice Wu and is inspired by elements of her own life. In a nutshell, it's a queer high school romance that subverts a lot of teenage drama cliches while also being extremely corny. Leah Lewis stars as Ellie Chu, our main character, who is shy and awkward, but extremely studious and well-read, and she delivers an absolutely great performance. She has a strong screen presence and voice, and definitely showed that she has the chops to lead a film. Ellie is the only Asian kid in the town of Squamish, Washington, and she's leveraged her smarts into a business where she writes essays for cash to help support her widower dad, who has a PhD but doesn't speak much English, and as a result is a trained engineer in the small town of Squamish. Our second main character is Paul Munsky, played by Daniel Demir. He's a tight end on the high school's trash football team and is something of a gentle giant. He's not a typical jock by any means. He's friendly with the guys on the football team, but he isn't really considered super popular, and he seems to really be in his own lane. He pays Ellie to help him write a love letter to a girl named Asta Flores, played by Alexis Lemire, who also has a boyfriend who is the most popular boy in town called Trig. And I just want to say Trig, the boyfriend of Asta, he's just a weird plot device in this film. He pops in and out at random moments and says really random stuff. And the fact that Asta is basically going behind his back and talking to someone else and cheating on him is never really addressed in the film. Anyway, Ellie continues to help Paul communicate and build a relationship with Asta through secret handwritten letters and through private messaging apps. So really, it's Ellie who's behind all of it. She does the bulk of the heavy lifting, trying to help Paul with his pursuit of Asta. Paul is drawn to Asta for her looks, while Ellie is also drawn to Asta, but her connection runs a little bit deeper. They bond over books and film references and have deep conversations that would go way over Paul's head. And this whole time, Asta apparently believes that she's talking to Paul, and as a result, she's falling in love with Paul. But she's actually talking to Ellie and falling in love with Ellie. And on the other side of this relationship triangle is the bond between Ellie and Paul. This was probably one of the stronger parts of this film, and it's about a relationship that starts off purely transactional, but then ends up developing into something real. Paul is so genuine and loyal, and he allows Ellie to be vulnerable and open up to him, and he basically becomes Ellie's first friend. And on the other side, Ellie inspires Paul to look deeper within himself and to grow beyond his doofus football mates, and to take risks and believe in himself. The film was really sweet and explored diversity in a way that very few films have done before. Wu juggles race, language, sexual orientation, and religion in this movie, and showcases the diversity that exists even within such a little town. But it has to be said, the film is a little boring. One of my main issues is that Asta's character is completely not fleshed out. We don't really see much of her struggle. She obviously is dealing with her sexuality and her religion, as her dad is a pastor and is very keen on her marrying Trig for some reason. She's got an extremely interesting story arc in that she most likely knew that it wasn't Paul messaging her because she met him in real life and he wasn't like what he was like over the secret messages and over the love letters. And she definitely suspected that it maybe could have been Ellie, but she didn't want to face the truth or find out who was really behind the messages. She didn't ever question it or dig any deeper. She clearly was in denial because she didn't want to face her own feelings, and we didn't really get to see her struggle with this. In general, the tension in the second half of the film really didn't build very well, and by the third act, when we've got a good idea of who these characters are, they just go off and make really strange choices. And on top of that, there's a very, very cringy climax with the characters giving corny ass monologues that was just so over the top, and I just couldn't stop cringing. I think that this film had a few too many realizations and discoveries a little bit too late in the film, not allowing the characters to react to what was happening and to really work through those things. While in the beginning of the film, it just didn't feel like a lot was happening at all, and because of this, it really threw the pacing off. At the end of the day, do I think the half of it is worth a watch? Unfortunately not. I found it pretty boring, and although I felt like it had a good foundation, centering around an awkward queer Asian teen trying to find love with very good acting, the dialogue and the plot was just so slow, and it was just a bit of a snooze fest. The half of it is not a terrible movie, and I've read some really positive reviews of the film, but I just don't think that this film is for me. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Cloudy TV. Let me know what you thought of the half of it in the comment section down below. As always, thank you guys again, and I'll catch you guys next time.